The trauma for mental health started way before actually getting to prison. And that's the biggest challenge that I think a lot of guys and girls face, is that this process took 4 years before actually getting to court. And that is the mental health challenge in itself, because unfortunately the media and unfortunately the way that some of the government agencies that actually look into some of the white collar work in different places, they see this as almost as a game. And for example, my case was put out in the media 2 days before Christmas. Now that's not an accident, that occurred because of a strategic situation, and effectively lost my job that day and then didn't have a hearing until nearly 4 years later. So that is mental health. When you've got children, you've got family, you've got mortgage, you've got other things to deal with, you're in a position where you have to effectively work out a way to make ends meet, to feed your kids, to be able to put food on the table. So before you even get into the prison process, the criminal justice system starts way before getting to jail. And I don't think that is something that, the toll of that is something that is really considered a lot of times when having conversations with people. Is I was shot before I even got to jail. And because it was constantly thinking about, how am I going to feed my kids? How my face is appearing on the back of the local newspaper with things that weren't true. Things that weren't true, and or things that were inflated, and then the flow onto your family when you're living in a country town. I've got an older daughter, and she was receiving ribbing. She would receive messages on social media from people that have seen it that may have issues with you. I was at the time, or previously, had coached professionally, coached sport, and so I had a semi-profile for the sake of sounding silly and egotistical. But that profile was written by the local newspaper, that 6 months beforehand, you were the person that they would call whenever they needed a soundbite, whenever they needed something to fill. And that whole mental space change was massive before incarceration even took place.